I am John Elliott Churchville, and the topic of this video Wednesday is 2 of your 5 hidden powers. This is the 4th in a series of Wednesday videos that will provide you with some insight into yourself. My goal is to help you shut out the noise of mass media and go into the secret closet of yourself to think positively and meditate lovingly into yourself. If this series of video Wednesdays just scratches the surface of getting at what I sincerely desire for you, I will have succeeded in my mission to be of some service to you. I will cover the first 2 of your 5 hidden powers: your power from possessing the mind of Christ and your power of first cause creativity. The worthiest object that you can ever desire in your life is to acquire the mind of Christ. So the question is, how do you go about acquiring Christ's mind? An even better antecedent observation is that you need not go looking for Christ's mind in order to find it. Actually, his mind exists within your own right mind. That aspect of your thought life that focuses on the good, the beautiful, the noble, and the just. Jesus' mind within you makes your mind a center of divine operation, the place where his and your creative power for good reside. There's only one source of creative power, and that one source lives in you. As you focus your thoughts on your desire to help, encourage, or otherwise add value to others, you will find Jesus' mind within you, guiding your thoughts to ideas, words, and actions that accomplish your thought goals. When you habitually give yourself to right thoughts, you will begin to feel your oneness with the all-originating Spirit of God. This is the true spiritual meaning of Jesus' words at Mark 10:8 and 9. And the 2 shall become one flesh. So they are no longer 2, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate. In other words, you should never allow the words, beliefs, and philosophies of other people, whether they are clergy, laity, or someone else, to separate you from your eternal oneness with the all-originating Spirit of God. That oneness is your birthright. It was housed in the womb of the image and likeness of God from which your existence sprang. Your only urgent task in life is to think from your right mind and carry out the assignments that you give yourself in pursuit of manifesting or producing physically the good, the noble, and loving thoughts your mind of Christ has generated. Then accept that your mind, the mind of Christ, is a center of divine operation and live fully into it. The mind of Christ holds both constructive and creative power. Your constructive power, with which you are more familiar, takes elements and forms as they visibly appear in nature and fashions new forms from them. Your constructive power, for example, takes a tree and makes wooden tables, chairs, and staircases from it. Your creative power, through your thought and word alone, calls forth invisible energy and substance and speaks physical manifestation and life into them. Your constructive power functions in the realm of second causes, while your creative power functions in the realm of first causes, the very same realm described at Genesis 1:1-3. Your constructive power is limited by pre-existing conditions and circumstances. For example, there must first be a tree in existence before you can construct wooden tables, chairs, and staircases. Your creative power is not limited by any antecedent conditions or circumstances. Your creative power speaks the let there be word, and there is emerges in direct response. When you come to see, accept, and be yourself as one with the all originating spirit of God, your let there be will be spoken in one voice, one spirit, and one mind, the mind of Christ. As Jesus taught his first disciples, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you're like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in me, in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. That's John 15:5-8. Your oneness with the all originating Spirit of God through Jesus, the mind of Christ, the Son, is your source of creative power. Your personal experience of oneness with the all originating Spirit of God can only exist in reality if you believe it to be so. Because as a man thinks, so is he. Your desire to be one in the Father and the Son is very much a prayer. However, a prayer not believed by the one who prays it is less than wishful thinking. Your belief is the catalyst that calls all things into existence for you. So your belief is central to receiving anything and everything you ask of the all originating Spirit of God. Receiving is the reciprocal of asking. It is what you find when you seek. It is the door opening after you knock. Receiving is the omega embedded in the alpha. It is the sure self-knowledge that no good desire you have can ever be denied by the all-originating Spirit of God with whom you are in oneness. Your belief is your faith in action. You sit in a chair that you believe will hold your weight. You walk up steps you believe to be strong and sturdy. You take your umbrella to work because you believe the weather report that is calling for rain. In the same way, you function in oneness with the all originating Spirit of God because you believe in your oneness with Him. You can have no belief in anything apart from taking some specific action which is directly tied to that belief. Therefore, if you fail to take action related to what you claim to believe, you are living in the state of unbelief or non-belief. The way past non-belief is paved with action. Action begins with your thought, your discussion with yourself about whether you will act in a given circumstance. Your thought requires awareness. Awareness is being fully present in the moment with yourself and realizing that the time has come for you to move from the one point in space-time that you currently occupy to a new point in space-time. Belief is not agreeing with an idea in your mind. It is the act of moving your thought from your head to outside your body into physical manifestation. Closely related to your power of believing must be your ability to discern what is constant in your life as opposed to what is variable or changeable in your life. Many people confuse what is constant and what is variable. That is, they confuse what is essential with that which is merely incidental. That which is essential is the center, source, and acting agent of your life, while that which is incidental is that which is created, formed, or acted upon by the center. You are the center of your life and the acting agent within it. Therefore, you are absolutely essential. Without you, your world and the aliveness within it is non-existent. When you deal with or face in and what you deal with or face in life is never essential. It is merely incidental. When you mentally, however, conceive of the problems, puzzles, concerns, and worries that you face as essential, you relinquish your role as captain of your own ship. You then lower yourself to become the slave oarsman who attempts to row the 1,000-ton vessel that is your life to shore all by yourself. In everything you do, there will always be two major factors that confront you, two major choices that you must make. In every case, you must decide and fix upon that which is essential and that which is incidental, that which is the constant center and source of action, and that which is the variable circumstance that is acted upon. Whichever of the two you choose to be essential, the other will automatically become the incidental. The variable, the incidental, is always present. So too is the essential always present. Confusing the two, however, takes all the joy, hope, and steady equilibrium out of your life. Think into your oneness with the all-originating Spirit of God with intention and your awareness of attention. If you persist in your thought, intention, and attention, then one great and glorious day in your life, you will no longer believe that you are essential. You will absolutely, positively know it. There is a twofold nature of I am. It is both the unmanifested, undifferentiated, invisible, macrocosmic universal, and the manifested, differentiated, visible, microcosmic you. If you fail to recognize this two-sided truth, then you will surround yourself with limitations. You will see only part of yourself and be surprised that the part fails to do the work of the whole. Without this recognition and understanding, factors will arise that you had not anticipated, and you will wonder from where they came. These factors arise from the unity in which you are included, your oneness with the all-originating Spirit of God. These factors are no less than the intelligence and infinite aliveness of the all-originating Spirit of God, which is continually pressing forward to manifest itself in an evolved set of human beings, including yourself, human beings whose guiding principle, spiritual principle, is love, and whose societal interests are aligned with freedom for the oppressed and economic justice for the poor. The only way you can participate in this great work is to recognize your own power to cooperate with the supreme principle by intelligently conceiving its purpose and the natural laws through which that purpose will be accomplished. Your recognition has no value except to the extent that you realize that you are the same universal principle in your individual and particular manifestation. When you recognize that your source of intelligence, power, and purpose is in that universal self that is yours as well as everyone else's, then you will not hesitate to identify yourself as a legitimate expression of the universal self, the all-originating Spirit of God. This is your first cause creative formula. I am, therefore I can, therefore I will. As the I am that starts the series, I am, therefore I can, therefore I will, you have your head in heaven and your feet planted firmly on the ground. Operating from this divine spiritual perspective, you are a perfect unity, having a range of ideas that far exceeds and transcends the frail, timid, and limited ideas that cannot escape the routine of daily living. But just what does the I am is one mean? It means that there are not two spirits, one that is yourself and one that is another. It means that there is not some great unknown power external to you, which is motivated by an agenda inimical to your own, who is poised to oppose you with overwhelming force and determined to crush you. There's only one mind, one motive, one power. Your conscious mind in all its movements is only the one mind expressing itself as your own particular individual self. There are not two I ams, but just one I am. Whatever you can conceive the great universal life principle to be, that you are. You would never conceive the all-originating spirit of God as poor, weak, sordid, miserable, jealous, angry, anxious, uncertain, or in any other way limited. Because the I am is one, then what applies to the I am equally applies to you, because you are in individual microcosm precisely what the universal I am is in macrocosm. In order to fully grasp the magnitude of the I am in yourself, you must first learn to distinguish your true self from the mental and physical processes which you're able to observe physically as the instruments you use whenever you express yourself. Then you must learn that your true self actually controls these mental and physical instrumentalities. As you advance in this self-knowledge, you will know that you are unlimited, and in your microcosmic world where you are the center, you are the very same overflowing well of aliveness that the all-originating spirit of God is in his universal macrocosm. The I am is one. When you thoroughly realize the true nature of your affirmative power, you will possess the key to the great secret. You can feel its presence in the innumerable life forms that you see all around you. You can feel it as the very fountain of life in yourself. Then one day the truth dawns on you, the revelation that you can wield this power of life by the simple process of thought. Once you can see this, you will begin to recognize how important it is for you to regulate and control your thought. You ask yourself what this thought process is, and you discover that it is thinking affirmative force into forms, which are the product of your own thought. You mentally conceive the form, and then you think life into it. This is always the nature of the creative process, no matter what the scale. It's the same process at the universal macrocosmic level and your own individual microcosmic mind level. You are free, by the way, to picture the mental machinery by which this is done in any way that satisfies your own intellect. You don't have to follow anybody else's pattern, for it is the satisfaction of your intellect that will give you confidence in your own mental action, without which confidence you can do nothing. However, the actual physical manifestation of your thought is the result of something much more than mere intellectual understanding. That something more is your emotional conception of yourself. The great law is true. You cannot outperform your image of yourself, what you actually feel yourself to be at your core. Whom you feel yourself to be is the self which takes on the forms you create. This is why your thought must be grounded in not only your intellect, but also in your emotions. You must feel the truth of what your intellect knows is true. If you do not feel at an emotional level the truth of the knowledge you have acquired at the level of your intellect, then you will not be able to produce in yourself the condition which you desire to externalize. You cannot think into manifestation a different life than you actually realize in yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. Neither can you stop creating forms by your mental activity and think life into them. As you think, so you are. Thus, you cannot sit still and create nothing. Your mental machinery will keep on creating forms, but it's up to you to determine what kind and quality of form it will be. In your time of ignorance and imperfect realization of your own power of thought, you created negative forms and thought life into them. You created forms of death, sickness, sorrow, trouble, and limitation, and then you thought life into them. These forms became your circumstances. However non-existent these forms were in themselves, to you they became realities that shadowed your otherwise clear path and caused you difficulties that limited your ability to be, do, and have more of the abundant life. Now that you know better, you must stop giving the negative an affirmative force that does not belong to it. Think. The negative is not being. The absence of all that constitutes being. Left to itself, it remains in its own nothingness. The negative only assumes form and activity when you give these to it by your own thought. This is the quintessential reason why you must control your thought. It's the only instrument you have that works with the greatest certainty of the outcome. Whether limitation, if you think limitation, or expansion, if you think expansion. Your thought, transmuted into feeling, is the only magnet that can attract the conditions and circumstances you desire in your life. Thought is a creative thing, but thought translated into feeling is a greater and more powerful thing. Your greatest challenge is to think unrestricted by your current circumstances. Now, this does not mean ignoring your situation, but it does mean exercising your thought beyond the bounds and limitations of your present circumstances. Think from your center where there are no boundaries or limitations. Think from unity and oneness with the all-originating Spirit of God and from the light, the mind of Christ within you. You have the power to determine what your circumstances will be by simply speaking and affirming your desire. Once you've done this, you can rest assured that whatever must happen to make your desire manifest will happen. As the scripture says at Zechariah 4:6, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. When you give thought to your desired circumstances, do not limit your thought to specifics, but think generally. Let me give you an example. Rather than think about a specific house in a specific location that you want, think of houses in general that have the amenities and external locations that appeal to you. Think life in all its fullness, together with the perfect blend of condition, which include health, wealth, and a multitude of other good things. Think illumination, harmony, prosperity, joy, peace, happiness, and love. Think the things and not this or that specific condition of them. By universal law, these things will form themselves into the shapes which best suit you. When you are ready to change your present mindset and decide to live the life you were created to live, contact me. I am John Elliott Churchfield, and thanks for watching this video. Be sure to pass it along to your friends and loved ones.